Welcome to Mindleapic. This is your quiet place to rest, a gentle space where the day slowly fades, and peace comes in soft waves. If this feels good to you, please press like and subscribe so we can keep making these calm stories together. And if you'd like, leave a comment below. Tell me which city or country you're listening from tonight. I love knowing where everyone is drifting off to sleep. Now, settle in. Dim the lights if you can. Pull the blanket a little higher. Let your shoulders drop. Breathe in, slow and easy, and breathe out. The world outside can wait. Right now, there is only this moment, this warmth, this gentle story. Tonight, we travel back to the winter of 1765. A small wooden home stands on the edge of a New England village. Snow has been falling since morning. Not heavy, not stormy, just steady and soft. Large white flakes drift down without hurry, covering the fields, the stone walls, the bare branches of the maples. Inside the house, everything is quiet and warm. A low fire burns in the wide stone hearth. The flames move slowly, sending small golden lights dancing across the pine floorboards. The air smells faintly of wood smoke, dried apples, and the clean wool of blankets folded near the settle. The family who lives here moves with the calm rhythm of winter days. There is no rush, no loud voices, only the small sounds that belong to a peaceful evening. The soft creak of a chair, the gentle pop of sap in the burning logs, the whisper of wind brushing snow against the window panes. The mother sits close to the fire, rocking slowly in her chair. Her hands hold a pair of knitting needles. They click in a steady, soothing pattern. She is making thick wool socks for her husband and children. The yarn is the color of winter sky, soft, gray-blue. Each stitch is careful and unhurried. She pauses now and then to look into the flames, letting her thoughts drift like the smoke curling up the chimney. Her husband sits at the other side of the hearth. He has pulled a small table near the light. On it rests a wooden bowl and a knife. He is carving a new spoon from a piece of maple. The blade moves slowly, shaving thin curls of wood that fall quietly onto the floor. He does not speak much. There is no need. The firelight touches his face, showing the calm lines made by years of quiet work and cold mornings. Two children rest on the settle near the warmth. The older one, a girl of about 10, has a book open on her lap. It is a simple book of psalms and stories, printed in London many years before. She reads slowly, her lips moving just a little, following the words with her finger. Her younger brother leans against her shoulder. His eyes are half closed. He listens to the fire and to his sister's soft voice. Sometimes he watches the snowflakes touch the window and melt into tiny drops. Outside, the snow keeps falling. It piles gently on the roof, on the fence posts, on the branches of the apple trees in the yard. A horse in the small barn stamps once, then settles again into the straw. The only light outside comes from the faint glow leaking through the shutters. It paints a warm square on the white ground. Inside, the fire crackles once more. A log settles deeper into the coals. Sparks rise like tiny stars, then disappear. The knitting needles keep their slow rhythm. The knife keeps its gentle scrape. The book pages turn with the softest sound. This is how the evening moves forward. One breath at a time. One flicker of flame at a time. No hurry, no worry. Only the cozy safety of home in the heart of a long New England winter. Let this quiet scene wrap around you now. Feel the warmth of the hearth on your face. Hear the soft fall of snow beyond the walls. You are safe here. You are calm. And the night is long and gentle. The snow continues to fall outside, silent and patient. Each flake lands without sound, adding another thin layer to the blanket already covering the ground. The wind has died down almost completely now. Only the gentlest breath moves through the bare trees, making their branches sway just enough to release a soft shower of white powder. Inside the home, the hearth remains the heart of everything. The fire has settled into a steady, low burn. The logs glow with deep orange and soft red, giving off warmth that reaches every corner of the small keeping room. The mother sets her knitting aside for a moment. She rises slowly from the rocking chair. Her skirts brush the floorboards with a faint rustle. She walks to the heavy iron kettle that hangs over the fire on its crane. With a long-handled hook, she carefully swings the kettle closer to the coals. Inside, water simmers quietly. She adds a small handful of dried chamomile and mint from a crock on the mantel. The herbs release their gentle scent almost at once. It drifts through the room, mixing with the wood smoke and the faint sweetness of the dried apple rings strung on twine near the ceiling. She stirs the brew with a wooden spoon, slow circles, letting the steam rise in lazy curls. When the color is just right, pale gold, she lifts the kettle from the hook. She pours the tea into 4 thick pewter mugs, one for each of them. No hurry in her movements. Each pour is measured, careful. She carries the mugs back to the fireside, one at a time. First to her husband. He accepts it with a small nod, his fingers closing around the warm metal. Then to the children. The girl closes her book gently and sets it on the settle beside her. Her brother opens his eyes fully for the first time in a while. He wraps both small hands around his mug, letting the heat soak into his palms. They sit together now, sipping slowly. The tea is not hot enough to burn. It is comforting, soothing on the tongue. The chamomile calms the mind. The mint cools the breath. No one speaks for a long time. There is no need for words when the fire talks in its soft pops and hisses, when the snow outside keeps its steady, whispering fall. After a while, the father sets his mug on the small table. He picks up his carving again. The spoon is nearly finished. The bowl of it is smooth now, rounded perfectly. He runs his thumb along the edge, checking for any roughness. Finding none, he begins to shape the handle. Long, slow strokes with the knife. Each shaving falls like a tiny curl of snow onto the floor near his boots. He will sand it tomorrow with fine river sand wrapped in cloth. Tonight is only for the shaping, the slow removal of what is not needed, leaving behind only what is simple and useful. The girl watches him for a time. She likes the way the firelight catches on the blade, flashing once with each careful cut. She likes the quiet focus in her father's hands. It makes her feel safe, knowing some things are made slowly, with patience. She reaches for a small basket beside the settle. Inside are scraps of wool and linen. She selects a piece of soft blue cloth and begins to fold it into a tiny quilt square. Her needle is already threaded with pale thread. She stitches with small, even stitches. The motion is almost the same as her mother's knitting. Steady, repeating, peaceful. Her brother finishes his tea first. He sets the empty mug carefully on the floor. Then he slides down from the settle and kneels closer to the hearth. He watches the fire as though it were telling him a very long, very quiet story. The flames move in slow waves. Sometimes a small blue flicker appears where the wood splits. He reaches out, not too close, and feels the warmth on his face and hands. It makes his cheeks pink. His eyelids grow heavier again. The heat wraps around him like another blanket. The mother returns to her chair. She picks up the half-finished sock. The needles resume their gentle clicking. Click, click, click. A sound as regular as a heartbeat, as regular as the slow breathing of everyone in the room. She glances at the window now and then. The panes are fogged at the edges from the warmth inside meeting the cold glass. Through the clear center, she can see the snow still drifting down. It has covered the woodpile outside almost completely. Only the tops of the split logs show, like small dark islands in a white sea. The clock on the mantel, a simple tall case brought from England. Years ago, chimes once, a single low note. It is 8 o'clock. In winter, bedtime comes early, not because anyone is tired exactly, but because the night is long, and the warmth of the bed is waiting. Still, no one moves just yet. There is still time. Time to sit. Time to watch the fire. Time to listen to the snow settling on the roof like a thick quilt of its own. The father pauses his carving. He holds the spoon up to the light. It looks almost finished now. He turns it slowly in his hand, admiring the grain of the maple. Light and dark swirls run through the wood like quiet rivers. He smiles, just a small curve of the mouth. Then he sets the spoon and knife aside on the table. He leans back in his chair. His hands rest in his lap. He closes his eyes for a moment, letting the warmth of the fire soak into him. The room holds them all gently. The fire burns low and steady. The tea mugs cool slowly on the hearthstones. The knitting needles rest in the mother's lap. The girl's needle pauses mid-stitch. The boy's head begins to nod forward. Outside, the snow keeps falling, softly, endlessly, covering the world in silence and peace. You can feel that same quiet settling over you now, the same gentle warmth on your skin, the same slow rhythm of breath, in and out, in and out. Let your body grow heavy. Let your thoughts drift like snowflakes. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go, only this cozy room, this long winter night, this deep calm. The fire has burned down to a gentle bed of coals now. Bright orange embers glow beneath a thin layer of gray ash. Every so often, one small flame leaps up for just a second, then settles again. It sends a brief warmth across the room, like a soft sigh. The mother notices the light is fading. She stands once more, slow and unhurried. Her shadow stretches long across the floorboards. As she moves toward the corner cupboard, she opens the door with a faint creak. Inside, on the middle shelf, sits a small tin box. She lifts the lid. 4 beeswax candles rest there, pale, yellow, and smooth. She selects 2. Returning to the hearth, she kneels for a moment. With a pair of iron tongs, she gathers a small, glowing ember. Carefully, she touches it to the wick of the first candle. The wick catches at once. A tiny flame appears, steady and golden. She places the candle in a pewter holder on the mantel. Then she lights the second one the same way. This one she carries to the small table beside her husband. The 2 flames join the dying firelight. Together, they make the room feel even warmer, even safer. Shadows soften. The pine walls take on a honey color. The air seems to slow down even more. The girl watches the new light play across her brother's face. His cheeks are flushed from the hearth warmth. His eyelids flutter, fighting sleep but losing slowly. She sets her sewing aside. The tiny quilt square is only half finished, but that is fine. Tomorrow there will be more time. Winter days are long indoors. She slides closer to her brother on the settle. She pulls a woolen shawl from the back of the bench and drapes it over both their laps. The wool is thick, scratchy in a comforting way. It smells faintly of lanolin and the lavender her mother tucked into the chest last summer. She tucks the edges around her brother's knees. He murmurs something soft, not quite a word. His head tips sideways until it rests against her arm. The father opens his eyes again. The candlelight catches in them. He looks at his wife across the hearth. She meets his gaze. No words pass between them, only a quiet understanding that has grown over many winters together. He reaches for the poker. With slow, deliberate movements, he stirs the coals. A few sparks rise, bright and brief, then vanish. He adds one more small log from the basket beside the fireplace. The log is dry pine, split earlier that day. It catches quickly. Flames curl around it gently, licking upward. The new heat spreads outward in warm waves. Outside, the snow has deepened. It reaches halfway up the bottom of the window panes now. The world beyond the glass is pure, white under the moon that has just begun to show through thinning clouds. Moonlight filters down, soft and silver blue. It makes the snow sparkle in tiny points of light. No footprints mark the yard. No lantern glows from any neighboring house. The village sleeps early in winter. Only this one small home still holds a quiet wakefulness. The mother sits again. She does not pick up her knitting right away. Instead, she folds her hands in her lap. She watches the fire. Her thoughts move slowly, like the drifting snow. She remembers other winters. Colder ones, warmer ones when the children were smaller and needed to be carried to bed. She remembers the sound of sleigh bells on the road some nights, distant and musical. She remembers the taste of gingerbread baked on Christmas Eve. All these memories come without hurry. They settle over her like another layer of warmth. The boy is almost asleep now. His breathing has changed. It is deeper, slower. Each breath moves his small chest in a gentle rise and fall. His sister feels the weight of his head against her. She does not move. She likes this feeling, the trust of it, the closeness. She rests her own head back against the high back of the settle. The wood is smooth from years of use. It fits against her neck just right. Her eyes trace the beams overhead. They are dark oak, hand-hewn long ago. In the candlelight, the grain shows faint patterns, like rivers frozen in wood. The father stands. His boots make a soft thud on the floor. He walks to the window. He cups his hands around his eyes and peers out through a clear spot in the fogged glass. Nothing moves, only snow falling, slower now, almost pausing between each flake. He turns back to the room. His family is bathed in soft light. The sight makes something quiet and good rise in his chest. He returns to his chair. He does not sit heavily. He lowers himself with care. The chair creaks once, then quiets. The mother finally reaches for her knitting again. The sock is nearly long enough now. She counts the rows in her mind. A few more, and it will be time to shape the heel. The needles move again. Click, click, click. The sound weaves into the other sounds of the room. The low crackle of the fire, the soft breathing of the children, the faint settling of the house timbers in the cold. All these small noises make a kind of lullaby. Nothing loud, nothing sudden, only gentle, repeating patterns. The candles burn steadily. Wax drips slowly down the sides in thin, clear streams. They pool at the base, then harden again. The flames do not flicker much. There is no draft tonight. The house is tight, chinked well with clay and moss. The warmth stays inside where it belongs. The boy gives a tiny sigh in his sleep. His sister smiles without opening her eyes. She feels her own body growing heavier. Her arms and legs sink deeper into the settle. The shawl is warm across her lap. The fire is warm on her face. The room is warm all around her. Everything is warm. Everything is slow. Everything is safe. The snow outside keeps falling, flake by flake. It covers the roof in thicker silence. It covers the fields in deeper peace. It covers the whole world in white quiet. You can feel that same peace now. Let it settle over you like snow. Let it cover your thoughts. Let your breathing match the slow rise and fall of the sleeping boy. In and out. In and out. The fire is low. The candles are steady. The night is kind. You are here in this cozy colonial home, and nothing else matters. The candles have burned for a while now. Their flames stand tall and calm, barely moving in the still air of the room. Small pools of melted wax have formed at their bases. shining like liquid gold in the soft light. Every few minutes, a drop slides down the side of one candle and hardens into a thin ridge. The scent of beeswax fills the keeping room gently, clean, sweet, natural. It mixes with the wood smoke and the fading. Chamomile from the tea mugs, still warm on the hearthstones. The mother's knitting has progressed further. The sock now covers the foot almost completely. She turns it inside out for a moment to check her work. The stitches are even, tight enough to keep out the winter cold, but soft against the skin. She runs her finger along the seam where the heel will soon turn. Satisfied, she begins the decreases. 2 stitches together, yarn over the needle, knit 1, repeat. The pattern is simple. It repeats like a quiet song she has known, since she was a girl learning at her own mother's side. Her hands know the motions without thought. The needles continue their steady click. Click, click. Each sound is small, comforting, part of the room's own breathing. The father has taken up a different task now. From a shelf near the settle, he pulls a worn leather pouch. Inside are a few pieces of flint and steel, along with a small bundle of charred cloth for tinder. He does not need to make a new fire tonight. The hearth is still alive. Instead, he is checking his supplies for the morning. He unrolls the cloth carefully on his knee. The edges are frayed from years of use. He inspects each piece of flint for cracks. Finding none, he polishes one with the corner of his shirt. Then he folds everything back into the pouch and ties the drawstring with slow pulls. His movements are deliberate, almost meditative. There is satisfaction in preparing for tomorrow while the world outside rests. The children are both deep in sleep now. The boy's head remains against his sister's shoulder. His mouth is slightly open, and his breathing is even and quiet. A small curl of hair has fallen across his forehead. The firelight touches it, turning it golden for a moment. His sister's book has slipped from her lap to the settle beside her. The pages lie open to the psalm she was reading. The words are printed in faded black ink. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. She has not moved since he leaned against her. Her arm has gone a little numb, but she does not mind. The shawl still covers them both. Its folds rise and fall with their breathing. Together, they look like one small bundle of warmth in the large room. Outside, the snowfall has lightened even more. The flakes are finer now, almost like mist. They float down in lazy spirals, catching the moonlight before settling. The moon is higher in the sky. Its light comes through the window in pale beams. It paints silver stripes across the floorboards near the children. The shadows of the window panes cross these stripes like gentle bars. No sound comes from the yard except the occasional soft thud of snow sliding from the roof. It lands on the ground below with a muffled whisper. The house itself seems to breathe with the family. The timbers creak faintly as the night cold settles deeper into the wood. The floorboards shift ever so slightly under the weight of the snow on the roof. These are the small voices of an old home speaking to itself. They are not alarming. They are familiar, like the ticking of the clock or the pop of the fire. The clock strikes again. 9 soft chimes this time. The sound is low, muffled by the warmth of the room. It drifts through the air without startling anyone. The mother pauses her knitting. She looks at her sleeping children. A small smile touches her lips. She sets the needles and yarn in the basket beside her chair. Then she stands quietly. Her skirts rustle only a little. She moves to the settle and kneels before the children. With the gentlest touch, she lifts the boy first. His body is limp and heavy with sleep. She cradles him against her shoulder. His head nestles into the curve of her neck. She feels his warm breath on her skin. She stands slowly, careful not to wake him. Then she reaches for her daughter's hand. The girl stirs just enough to open her eyes halfway. She does not speak. She simply stands, swaying a little, still half in dream. The mother guides her with a hand on her back. They move toward the narrow stairs at the back of the keeping room. The stairs are steep and narrow, worn smooth in the center by many feet over many years. Each step creaks softly under their weight. The father watches them go. He does not follow yet. He stays by the fire, tending it one last time. He banks the coals with ash from the shovel. The flames die down to a hidden glow. The room grows a shade darker, but the candles still burn. Their light is enough for the night. Upstairs, the bedchamber is small and simple. One large bed for the parents. A trundle bed pulled out for the children. The trundle is low, close to the floor. Thick feather ticks cover it, topped with wool blankets and a patchwork quilt made from scraps over many winters. The mother lowers the boy onto the trundle first. She tucks the covers around him, smoothing them with slow strokes. He sighs once in his sleep and turns onto his side. His hand curls near his cheek. The girl climbs in beside him without help. She curls up facing her brother. Her eyes close again almost at once. The mother pulls the quilt higher over both of them. She smooths it again, her hands lingering for a moment on their shoulders. Then she leans down and kisses each forehead lightly. The kisses are soft as snowflakes. She whispers a quiet blessing, the same one her mother used years ago. Sleep well, little ones. May angels watch over you till morning. She stands for a moment, watching them breathe. The rise and fall is steady, peaceful. The room upstairs is colder than below, but the blankets are thick. The window here is smaller, with heavy shutters closed tight. Only a thin line of moonlight slips through a crack. It falls across the foot of the bed like a silver thread. The mother returns downstairs. Her steps are slow on the creaking stairs. The father has not moved from his chair. He looks up as she enters the keeping room again. She smiles at him. He rises and takes her hand. Together they walk to the hearth one last time. They blow out the candles. First the one on the mantel, then the one on the table. The wicks hiss faintly as the flames die. A thin thread of smoke rises, then disappears. Only the banked fire remains, a soft red glow under the ash. They stand together for a moment, hands linked. The room is very quiet now, only the faint crackle of coals and the distant sigh of wind against the house. The father squeezes her hand gently. Then they move to the stairs. They climb slowly, side by side. At the top, they pause to listen. The children breathe evenly in their sleep. All is well. In their own bed, they settle under the heavy covers. The mattress is filled with corn husks and feathers. It rustles softly as they lie down. The father pulls the quilt up to their chins. His wife rests her head on his shoulder. They do not speak. They simply lie there, listening to the house settle, to the snow outside, to each other's breathing. The night deepens. The snow continues its gentle fall, flake after flake, covering everything in white silence. The moon moves slowly across the sky. Its light shifts across the roof, across the fields, across the sleeping village. You are here with them now. Feel the weight of the quilts on your body. Hear the soft crackle of the dying fire far below. Breathe in the cool, clean air of the upstairs room. Breathe out slowly. Your eyelids grow heavy. Your thoughts drift like snowflakes, light and quiet. There is no hurry, no place to be. Only this warm bed, this peaceful night, this deep rest. Let go. Sleep comes gently, like the falling snow, soft, slow, endless. Morning arrives without fanfare. The sky lightens slowly from deep indigo to pale gray, then to the softest white. No birds sing yet. They wait for the sun to warm the branches a little. Snow has stopped falling sometime in the night. A thick, even layer covers everything outside. The roof, the fence, the stone wall along the road, the bare apple trees standing like patient sentinels. The world looks newly made, clean, and quiet. Inside the house, the keeping room is still warm from the banked coals. A faint red glow remains beneath the ash, patient and steady. The father wakes first. He lies still for a moment, listening. The house is silent except for the gentle breathing of his wife beside him and the distant, muffled sounds of the children downstairs. He slips from under the heavy quilt without disturbing her. His feet find the cold floorboards. He reaches for the wool stockings folded on the chair beside the bed. They are the ones his wife finished knitting last month. Thick, warm, gray wool. He pulls them on slowly, then adds his breeches and shirt. The air upstairs is chilly, but he moves without haste. He descends the stairs one careful step at a time. Each tread gives its familiar creak, soft in the early quiet. In the keeping room, he kneels before the hearth. He brushes away the ash with the small broom of twigs kept for this purpose. Beneath it, the coals still hold a deep, steady heat. He adds kindling first. Thin, dry sticks gathered from the edge of the woods last autumn. Then a larger split of pine. He blows gently on the coals, once, twice. A small flame appears, hesitant at first, then stronger. It licks the kindling, catches, spreads. Warmth begins to return to the room in slow waves. He sits back on his heels for a moment, watching the fire grow. The flames are pale gold in the morning, light that now slips through the window cracks. He stands and walks to the back door. He lifts the heavy latch. Cold air rushes in, sharp and clean. It carries the scent of fresh snow, pure, almost sweet. He steps onto the small porch. The snow here is untouched, deep enough to reach his calves. He breathes in deeply. The air stings his lungs a little, but it feels good. Alive, he looks across the yard. The barn stands dark against the white, its roof heavy with snow. Smoke will soon rise from its chimney, too, when he tends the animals. But not yet. There is time. He returns inside and closes the door firmly. The latch drops with a quiet click. He moves to the buttery, a small cold room off the keeping room. Inside, shelves hold crocks of milk, wheels of cheese wrapped in cloth, jars of preserves. He selects a jug of milk from yesterday's milking. It is cold and thick with cream. He carries it to the table near the window. Then he takes the wooden bowl and spoon from last night. He pours a measure of cornmeal into a small iron pot, adds water from the bucket by the door, a pinch of salt. He hangs the pot on the crane over the now cheerful fire. The porridge will cook slowly while the house wakes. Upstairs, his wife stirs. She feels the empty space beside her. She hears the faint crackle of the fire below. She smiles into the pillow for a moment. Then she rises too. She dresses in the same unhurried way. Wool petticoat, stays, gown of linsey woolsey, dyed a soft brown. She pins her hair simply, tucking stray strands beneath a white cap. She descends the stairs. The scent of wood smoke and beginning porridge greets her. She pauses at the bottom step, watching her husband at the hearth. He turns and sees her. Their eyes meet. A small nod passes between them. Good morning, without words. She moves to the settle where the children still sleep. The boy has turned onto his stomach, one arm flung out. His sister lies curled tightly, the quilt pulled to her chin. Their faces are peaceful, flushed with sleep warmth. She does not wake them yet. There is no rush on a winter morning. She goes instead to the window. She rubs a circle clear in the frost with her sleeve. Outside, the light is brighter now. The snow glitters under the rising sun. Tiny sparkles dance across the surface like scattered diamonds. A single crow flies low over the field, its wings slow and black against the white. It lands on a fence post, tilts its head, then flaps away again. She turns back to the room. The porridge begins to bubble softly at the edges. She stirs it with the long wooden spoon. The cornmeal thickens slowly. She adds a little more milk, watching it swirl and blend. The scent rises, warm, simple, comforting. She sets the iron spider, a flat pan with legs, over the coals. She slices thick pieces of yesterday's bread. She butters them generously. The butter melts at once, soaking in. She places the slices on the spider to toast. The edges will crisp, the centers stay soft. The children begin to wake. First, the girl. She opens her eyes slowly. She blinks at the light coming through the window. She stretches under the covers, arms above her head. A small yawn escapes. She sits up and looks around. The keeping room feels different in daylight. Brighter, more open. She sees her mother at the hearth and smiles sleepily. "Good morrow, Mama." Her voice is soft, still thick with sleep. Her mother turns and returns the smile. "Good morrow, my love. Did you sleep well?" The girl nods, rubbing one eye with her fist. The boy wakes next. He makes a small sound, half groan, half sigh. He rolls onto his back and stares at the ceiling beams for a long moment. Then he sits up too. His hair stands in every direction. He looks at his sister, then at the fire, then at the window. "Snow," he says simply. His sister laughs quietly. "Yes, lots of it." He smiles, pleased with the world. The mother calls them to wash. A basin of warm water waits near the fire. They take turns dipping the cloth, wiping faces and hands. The water is soothing, not too hot. They dry on the linen towel hung on a peg. Clean and awake now, they sit at the table. The father joins them. He has been outside briefly, checking the barn. The animals are fine. The cow content in her stall, the chickens fluffed in their roost. He brushes snow from his shoulders and sits. The porridge is ready, thick, creamy, steaming. The mother spoons it into wooden bowls. A swirl of molasses on top for each. The toast comes next, golden at the edges. Warm butter glistening. They eat slowly. Spoons scrape gently against wood. No one speaks much. The food is warm in their stomachs. The fire is warm at their backs. The light outside grows stronger. Sunlight streams through the clear parts of the window now, falling in long rectangles across the floor. After breakfast, the children help clear the table. The girl carries the bowls carefully. The boy wipes the table with a damp cloth. Their movements are slow, still waking fully. The mother rinses everything in a bucket of water warmed at the hearth. The father adds another log to the fire. The flames leap happily for a moment, then settle into steady burning. Outside, the day is calm. No wind, no new snow, only bright sun on endless white. The village remains quiet. Neighbors will not visit today. The paths are deep, the cold still sharp. There is no need to go anywhere. The house is enough. The warmth inside is enough. The slow rhythm of winter morning is enough. You can feel that same gentle morning now. The warmth of porridge in your belly. The soft scrape of spoon on bowl. The sunlight on your face through the window. Your breathing is slow and easy. Your body is heavy with comfort. The day outside is bright but quiet. Inside, everything moves without hurry. Let your thoughts drift like sunlight on snow. Soft, bright, peaceful. There is nothing to do but be here, right now, in this cozy colonial home. Let the calm wrap around you completely. Deeper and deeper. The breakfast bowls have been washed and set to dry on the wooden rack near the hearth. The water in the basin steams faintly as it cools. Small bubbles rise and pop with the softest sound. The mother wipes her hands on her apron. then hangs it on its peg by the door. She looks around the keeping room. Everything is in its place. The settle pushed back against the wall, the chairs drawn near the fire, the small table cleared except for the candle stubs from last night. Sunlight now pours through the window in full strength. It makes the floorboards glow pale gold and turns the dust motes into tiny floating sparks. The room feels alive with quiet light. The children stand near the window, noses almost touching the glass. They watch their father outside. He has bundled himself in his heavy wool coat, a wool cap pulled low, mittens on his hands. A long scarf, knitted by his wife 2 winters ago, wraps around his neck. He carries a wide wooden shovel. The blade is worn smooth from years of clearing paths. He begins at the porch steps. Each scoop lifts a heavy load of snow. He swings it to the side in a slow, practiced arc. The snow lands with a soft thump, building small white hills along the edge of the path. He works without hurry. His breath clouds in the cold air, white plumes that drift and disappear. The shovel scrapes the frozen ground beneath, then lifts again. Scrape, lift, swing, thump. The rhythm is steady, almost musical in its simplicity. Inside, the girl presses her palm to the glass. The cold seeps through, making her fingers tingle. She draws a small face in the frost with her fingertip. 2 dots for eyes, a curve for a smile. It melts almost at once, leaving a clear patch. Her brother watches, then tries the same. His face is rounder, with bigger eyes. They giggle softly when the frost wins and refreezes around the edges. The mother comes to stand behind them. She rests one hand on each shoulder. Together, they watch the path grow longer. A narrow ribbon of dark earth appears between white walls of snow. It leads from the porch to the barn, then curves toward the woodpile. After a time, the father pauses. He leans on the shovel handle. He looks back at the house. He sees 3 faces at the window and raises one mittened hand in a small wave. The children wave back eagerly. The mother lifts her hand too, a gentle motion. He nods once, satisfied, then continues his work. The path to the barn is nearly clear now. He will feed the animals next. The cow needs hay and fresh water from the well. The chickens will peck at corn scattered on the barn floor. All simple tasks, all done the same way every winter morning. The mother turns from the window. She moves to the corner cupboard. She opens the lower door and pulls out a basket of mending. Inside are stockings with small holes at the heels, a torn shirt sleeve, a pair of mittens missing a thumb. She carries the basket to her rocking chair by the fire. She settles in. The chair gives its familiar creak as she sits. She selects the boy's stocking first. The hole is not large, just a thin place worn through from 2 many steps in wooden shoes. She threads a needle with gray wool. The thread is the same color as the sock itself. She begins to darn. Small, tight stitches weave back and forth across the gap, then around in circles to strengthen the edges. Her hands move slowly. Each stitch is even, careful. The needle flashes in the sunlight as it pierces the wool. In, out, in, out. The motion is soothing, like breathing. The girl leaves the window and comes to sit on the settle near her mother. She picks up her own small sewing basket. Yesterday's quilt square waits inside, half finished. She threads her needle with blue thread. She continues stitching the tiny pieces together. Triangle to square, square to triangle. The pattern is simple. 9 small patches making 1 larger block. She plans to make enough blocks for a doll's quilt by spring. Her stitches are smaller than her mother's, but growing steadier with practice. She hums a little tune under her breath. Not loud, just a soft murmur of sound. The humming matches the rocking of her mother's chair. Back, forth, back, forth. The boy stays at the window a while longer. He watches his father disappear into the barn. A thin line of smoke begins to rise from the barn chimney. The father has lit the small stove inside to keep the water from freezing. The boy presses his forehead to the glass. The cold feels good against his warm skin. He breathes on the pane, making a new cloud of fog. He draws a tree this time. Tall trunk, branches spreading wide. Then a house below it, with smoke curling from the chimney. He smiles at his own drawing. It looks like their home. The keeping room holds all these small activities in gentle balance. The fire burns steadily now, logs crackling softly every few minutes. The rocking chair moves in its slow rhythm. The needle moves through wool. The boy's breathing fogs and clears the glass. Outside, the shovel scrapes again, fainter now, farther away. All sounds blend together into one quiet whole. No one hurries. No one speaks much. The morning simply unfolds, one gentle moment after another. After a time, the father returns. Snow clings to his boots and the hem of his coat. He stamps once on the porch to shake it off. Then he opens the door. Cold air rushes in for a moment, sharp and bright. He closes the door quickly behind him. He hangs his coat and cap on the pegs by the door. His cheeks are red from the cold, his eyes bright. He rubs his hands together near the fire. The warmth soaks into his fingers at once. The children turn to him. "Did the cow like her hay?" the boy asks. The father nods. She did. And the chickens scratched happily. He smiles, a small, quiet smile. He sits in his chair by the hearth. The mother looks up from her darning. "All well?" she asks. "All well," he answers. Simple words. Enough. He reaches for the small book on the mantel, a worn volume of almanac, pages and notes. He opens it to the day's page. He reads the weather signs quietly to himself. Clear skies today. Cold, but no storm coming. Good for drying laundry by the fire if needed. He closes the book and sets it aside. Then he simply sits, hands resting on his knees, eyes on the flames. The family gathers near him without planning it. The girl brings her sewing. The boy sits on the floor near his feet, leaning against his leg. The mother rocks gently. The sunlight shifts across the room. It moves from the window to the table, then to the settle. Time passes in this slow way. No clock chimes urgently. The morning stretches long and peaceful. Tasks wait, but they do not press. There is space between each thing. Space to breathe, to watch, to feel the warmth. You can feel that space now, too. The sunlight on your skin, the gentle rock of the chair, the soft scrape of needle through wool. Your own breathing matches the slow rise and fall of the fire. In and out, in and out. The cold outside cannot reach you here. The warmth holds you gently. Your body grows heavier in the chair. Your thoughts slow to the pace of falling snow. Even though the snow has stopped, they drift, settle, drift again. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. Only this quiet colonial morning, this cozy room, this deep, endless calm. Let it carry you deeper, deeper into rest. Soft, warm, safe. The sunlight has climbed higher now. It reaches the far wall of the keeping room, warming the dark pine boards until they release a faint scent of resin and old wood. The fire has settled into a steady, even burn. Flames lick quietly around the logs, sending small curls of smoke up the wide chimney. Every so often, a knot in the wood pops, a gentle sound like a faraway twig snapping underfoot. The room feels full of soft, golden light and gentle heat. No shadows linger in the corners anymore. The mother finishes darning the last small hole in the boy's stocking. She ties off the wool thread with a neat knot, then bites the end cleanly. She smooths the repaired spot with her thumb. The stitches blend almost perfectly with the original knitting. She folds the stocking and places it in the mending basket with the others. Then she stands and stretches her back slowly. Her hands press against her lower spine for a moment. The rocking chair continues to move a little from the motion of her rising. It slows, stops. She walks to the buttery again. This time, she brings out a small crock of honey and a jar of dried apples. She sets them on the table near the window. The sunlight falls across the honey, making it glow deep amber. Tiny bubbles rise slowly inside the jar, catching the light like trapped stars. She slices one of the dried apple rings into thin pieces with a paring knife. The knife moves in careful, shallow strokes. Each slice is thin enough to see light through. She arranges the pieces on a small pewter plate. Then she spoons a little honey into a dish and sets it beside the apples. A simple mid-morning treat. Nothing grand, just enough to carry them through until the main meal at noon. The children notice the plate at once. The girl sets her sewing aside carefully. She wipes her needle on a scrap of cloth and tucks it into her basket. She joins her brother at the table. They sit on the long bench that runs along one side. Their feet dangle just above the floor. The boy reaches first, taking a slice of apple. He dips it into the honey. The honey clings in slow, golden threads as he lifts it to his mouth. He chews thoughtfully, eyes half closed in pleasure. The sweetness spreads across his tongue. The dried apple is chewy, with a faint tartness that balances the honey perfectly. His sister takes a piece next. She eats more slowly, savoring each bite. She licks a drop of honey from her finger. The taste reminds her of summer, of bees humming in the orchard, of warm days picking fruit with her mother. The father watches from his chair. He has not moved much since returning from the barn. His hands rest loosely in his lap. He smiles faintly at the children's quiet enjoyment. After a moment he rises. He walks to the table and takes a slice himself. He does not dip it in honey. He likes the plain taste of the dried fruit. It crunches softly between his teeth. He chews slowly, looking out the window as he eats. The yard is bright now. Snow sparkles everywhere. The path he shoveled earlier is already dusted with a fine, new layer from the branches overhead. Tiny crystals drift down when the breeze stirs. It looks like fairy dust in the sunlight. The mother pours water from the kettle into 4 mugs. The water is still warm from the fire. She adds a small pinch of dried mint to each. The leaves unfurl slowly in the heat, releasing their fresh green scent. She carries the mugs to the table. The children thank her with soft voices. They sip carefully. The mint cools their throats after the sweetness of the honey. The warmth spreads downward, comforting their stomachs. They sit together like this for a long while, eating small bites, sipping slowly, watching the light move across the room. No one feels the need to speak. The silence is comfortable, filled with small sounds. The fire's low murmur, the occasional creak of the house settling, the soft clink of a mug set back on the table. After the last apple slice is gone and the honey dish scraped clean, the girl stands. She carries the plate and mugs to the basin. She rinses them in the remaining warm water. Her brother helps by drying each piece with the linen towel. He holds the mugs up to the light to check for spots, then sets them carefully on the rack. The mother nods approval without words. The small task is finished neatly, everything returned to its place. The boy wanders to the settle again. He picks up a small wooden toy his father carved last winter, a horse with a smooth, rounded back and short legs. The wood is polished from many hours of play. He sets the horse on the floor and pushes it slowly across the boards. It glides without sound. He makes no galloping noises, no loud whinnies, just the gentle slide of wood on wood, back and forth, back and forth. The motion is calming. His eyes follow the horse as though it is traveling a long, peaceful road. His sister returns to her sewing. She threads the needle again. She adds another small square to her growing block. The colors are soft: pale blue, cream, rose from an old dress, green from a scrap of apron. Each stitch pulls the pieces closer together. She imagines the finished quilt spread across her doll's small bed. The thought makes her smile quietly to herself. The mother takes up her knitting once more. She has begun a new sock, this one in dark brown wool for her husband. The needles move in the same steady rhythm as before. Click, click, click. The sound weaves through the room like a thread of its own. She rocks gently as she knits. The chair's motion matches the needles almost perfectly. Back, forth. Click, click. A quiet lullaby made of wood and wool. The father stands by the window now. He looks out at the bright yard. He considers the woodpile. It is low after the long cold nights. He will split more logs this afternoon, when the sun is highest and the air a little warmer. For now, he simply watches. A squirrel appears on the fence post. Its tail flicks once, twice. It leaps to the snow, leaving tiny footprints in a straight line toward the apple trees. It pauses, sniffs the air, then scrambles up the trunk. The father watches until it disappears among the branches. A small smile touches his lips. Even the animals move slowly today. The sunlight continues its slow journey across the floor. It touches the settle now, warming the wool shawl folded there. It touches the hearthstones, making them glow softly. It touches the family, one by one. Warmth on their faces, their hands, their shoulders. The room feels like a cocoon of light and quiet. Time stretches long and thin. Minutes blend into one another without edges. Outside, the snow remains perfect and untouched, except for the narrow path and the small prints of boots and paws. The sky is a clear, pale blue. No clouds drift across it. The cold holds everything still. No birds call loudly, only the softest rustle of wind through bare branches. Inside, the fire burns on. The knitting needles click. The wooden horse glides. The needle pierces cloth. Breaths rise and fall in gentle rhythm. All is calm. All is slow. All is as it should be on this winter day in 1765. You can feel the same sunlight now, warm across your face, the same gentle rocking, the same soft clicks of needles. Your own breathing slows to match the room's quiet pulse. In and out. In and out. Your body sinks deeper into rest. Your mind drifts like the squirrel across the snow. Light, unhurried. No thoughts rush in. No worries press. Only this warm, bright, peaceful moment. Let it hold you. Let it carry you deeper into sleep. Soft, golden, endless. The mid-morning light has softened slightly now. The sun sits a little higher, its rays slanting more gently through the window. The sparkle on the snow outside has become a steady, even glow, bright but not blinding. Inside, the keeping room holds its warmth like a promise kept. The fire has burned down to a comfortable size again. The logs are half consumed, their edges curled black, their centers still orange and steady. Heat radiates outward in slow pulses, warming knees and faces without ever becoming too hot. The mother sets her knitting needles down for a moment. She places the half-finished brown sock across the arm of her rocking chair. The yarn trails like a thin river of wool to the ball resting in the basket. She stands and walks to the small loom in the corner near the stairs. It is a simple four-harness loom, made by her husband from maple and oak years ago. The frame is sturdy, the heddles threaded with linen warp in a soft, natural color. A half-woven length of cloth hangs from the breastbeam. A sturdy checked pattern in brown and cream meant for new kitchen towels when finished. She sits on the low bench before it. Her feet find the treadles. She presses one down gently. The harnesses lift with a quiet clack of wood against wood. She passes the shuttle through the open shed. The shuttle is smooth maple, weighted just right. It glides across the warp threads with almost no sound. She beats the weft in with the reed. One firm, even push. Then she changes treadles. Another shed opens. Another pass of the shuttle. Beat. The rhythm begins. Press, pass, beat, press, pass, beat. It is slow and regular, each motion deliberate. The cloth grows row by row, almost imperceptibly. The sound of the loom becomes part of the room. A soft, wooden heartbeat. The girl watches from the settle. She likes the way the shuttle moves back and forth like a boat on calm water. She sets her own sewing aside again and comes closer. She stands beside the loom, hands clasped behind her back. "May I try after you, Mama?" she asks quietly. Her mother nods without pausing. "Of course, love. When this row is done." The girl waits patiently. She counts the passes in her head. 1, 2, 3. The cloth advances a tiny bit with each beat. The checks begin to form more clearly. Small squares of brown crossing cream. Simple, useful, beautiful in its plainness. The boy has grown tired of his wooden horse. He sets it carefully on the windowsill where the sun warms its back. He wanders to the hearth. He kneels on the rag rug. His grandmother braided long ago strips of old wool in faded reds and blues. He picks up the small iron poker. He stirs the coals gently, not too hard, just enough to bring a few fresh flames to the surface. Sparks rise in a brief shower, bright and quick, then gone. He watches them fade. Then he adds one small stick from the kindling basket. The fire accepts it gratefully. The new wood catches with a soft hiss. Flames curl around it slowly. He replaces the poker on its hook and sits back on his heels. His small hands rest on his knees. He stares into the fire the way older people sometimes do, not thinking of anything in particular, just letting the movement of the flames fill his mind. The father has moved to the table near the window. He has brought out his almanac again, along with a small bottle of ink and a quill pen. The ink is homemade. Walnut hulls boiled down last fall, thick and dark. He opens the almanac to a blank page near the back. He dips the quill carefully. He writes the date at the top in his neat, unhurried hand. February 1765. Then below it, a few short notes. Snow deep. Path cleared to barn. Animals well. Clear sky, no wind. He pauses, thinks, then adds, children quiet and content. Wife weaving. He looks up at the loom for a moment. The shuttle passes again. He smiles faintly and returns to the page. He sketches a quick line drawing of the snow-covered apple tree he can see through the window. The branches bend under the weight. He draws them simply. No fuss, just the shape of them against the sky. The ink dries slowly in the warm air. He caps the bottle and wipes the quill on a scrap of cloth. Then he closes the almanac and sets it aside. Outside, a faint breeze has stirred at last. It moves across the snow in gentle waves. Tiny drifts form and reform like ripples on water. The squirrel from earlier returns. It scampers along the top of the fence, tail high. It pauses at the end post nearest the house. It sits up on its hind legs, nose twitching. It looks toward the window for a long moment. The boy notices. He waves one small hand. The squirrel flicks its tail once, then leaps down into the snow. It disappears in a puff of white powder. The boy laughs softly, a quiet, happy sound. The mother finishes her row. She beats it in one last time. Then she slides the bench back a little. "Come, dear," she says to her daughter. The girl takes her place. She is small enough that her feet barely reach the treadles fully. She stretches a little to press one down. The harness lifts. Her mother guides her hand to the shuttle. "Slow now," she whispers. The girl pushes the shuttle through. It moves more slowly than her mother's passes, but steadily. She beats with the reed, not too hard. A small row appears. She smiles wide. Her mother rests a hand on her shoulder. "Very good. Another one. Press. Pass. Beat." The loom continues its quiet song. The girl's face glows with concentration and joy. The father rises from the table. He walks to the door and opens it just a crack. Cold air slips in, but only a little. He breathes it deeply. It smells of pine and clean snow. He closes the door again. Then he returns to his chair by the fire. He picks up a piece of wood he has been saving, a straight length of cedar. He takes his small knife from his pocket. He begins to whittle, not carving anything specific yet, just removing thin shavings, letting the wood reveal itself slowly. Curl after curl falls to the floor near his boots. He will decide what it wants to be later, a spoon perhaps, or a small bird, or nothing at all. Just the pleasure of the knife moving through soft wood. The room holds all these gentle activities, like a warm hand cupping them. The loom clacks softly. The knife scrapes in slow rhythm. The fire murmurs. The children breathe. The mother stands nearby, watching her daughter weave. Sunlight continues its slow crawl across the floorboards. It touches the loom now, lighting the warp threads like fine silver wires. It touches the whittled shavings, turning them pale gold. It touches every face in the room with the same quiet kindness. Time moves without hurry here. Minutes stretch into hours without anyone noticing. No task feels heavy. No moment feels empty. Everything simply is, the way winter days are meant to be. Slow, warm, full of small good things. You can feel that same gentle rhythm now. The soft clack of the loom, the whisper of the knife on wood, the warmth of sunlight on your hands. Your own breath matches the slow beat of the treadles. Down, up, down, up. Your eyelids grow heavier with each pass of the shuttle. Your body sinks deeper into the settle. Thoughts drift like the shavings curling to the floor. Light, unhurried, harmless. No need to hold them. Let them fall. Let them rest. The fire is steady. The light is soft. The house is safe. Sleep waits patiently, like the next row on the loom. Coming closer, closer, soft and sure. Deeper now, deeper still. The afternoon light has taken on a warmer tone now. The sun has moved westward across the sky, its rays coming in at a lower angle through the small-paned windows. They stretch longer across the floorboards, painting golden stripes that reach almost to the opposite wall. The snow outside reflects this light back in a soft, diffuse glow. Everything in the yard appears wrapped in pale honey. The fence posts, the bare branches, the roof of the barn. No new snow has fallen. The world remains still and bright, held in the quiet grip of winter midday. Inside, the keeping room feels even cozier with the changing light. The fire has been fed another log, a thick piece of oak this time. It burns more slowly than the pine, giving off a deeper, steadier heat. The flames are low and even, licking upward in gentle, patient waves. Occasional sparks drift up the chimney like tiny fireflies released too early. They wink out before reaching the top. The scent of oak smoke is richer, almost nutty, blending with the faint beeswax lingering from the candles last night. The girl has finished her turn at the loom. Her mother has taken the bench again. The shuttle continues its slow journey back and forth. Press, pass, beat. The checked cloth has grown several more inches since morning. The pattern is clearer now. Neat, brown, and cream squares marching in orderly rows. Each new weft thread locks the last one in place with a soft thump of the reed. The mother's feet move the treadles with practiced ease. Her hands guide the shuttle without looking. She can feel the tension of the warp, the slight give of the yarn. She adjusts nothing. Everything is balanced. The loom sings its quiet wooden song, steady and unhurried. The boy has moved from the hearth to the settle. He sits cross-legged, the wooden horse resting on his knee. He rocks it back and forth gently, making it walk in place. No sounds come from his mouth. He simply watches the horse move. His eyes follow the carved lines of its mane, the curve of its neck. The sunlight catches the polished wood, making it shine like dark amber. He turns the horse slowly so the light travels across its back. He smiles at the way the glow shifts. Small discoveries like this fill the long winter hours. The father has finished whittling for now. A small pile of cedar shavings lies at his feet like pale wood curls. The piece in his hand has begun to take shape. Not quite a spoon yet, but the beginning of one. The bowl is roughed out, the handle still thick and square. He sets it on the small table beside his chair. He brushes the shavings from his lap with slow sweeps of his hand. They fall to the floor in soft drifts. He will sweep them up later with the broom of twigs. For now, he simply sits, hands resting on the arms of the chair, eyes half closed against the warm light. His breathing is deep and even. In, out, in, out. The rise and fall of his chest matches the slow crackle of the fire. The mother pauses her weaving. She leans back slightly on the bench. She rubs her wrists in small circles. The motion is gentle, easing the quiet ache from hours of holding the shuttle. She looks around the room at her family, the boy with his horse, the girl sewing again on the settle, the father resting in his chair. A deep contentment settles over her. These are the moments she will remember, when the children are grown and the house is quieter. Not grand events, not loud celebrations, just this. A winter afternoon filled with small, ordinary doings. She rises and walks to the buttery once more. She brings out a small wheel of cheese and a knife. She cuts thin slices onto the same pewter plate from earlier. The cheese is sharp and creamy, made last summer from their own cow's milk. She adds a few more dried apple rings, a simple offering. Nothing more is needed. She carries the plate to the table near the window. "Time for a bite," she says softly. The children look up at once. They set their play and sewing aside. They come to the table without hurry. The father opens his eyes fully and joins them. They sit together on the benches. The girl passes the plate first to her brother. He takes a slice of cheese and an apple ring. He eats slowly, chewing each bite many times. The sharpness of the cheese contrasts with the sweet chew of the apple. It makes his mouth water pleasantly. His sister takes the next piece. She holds it between her fingers, admiring the way the sunlight turns the cheese almost translucent at the edges. She bites off a small corner. The flavor spreads slowly across her tongue. The parents eat more quietly. The father cuts a slice for his wife. She accepts it with a small nod. They chew in silence. The only sounds are the soft crunch of dried apple, the faint scrape of knife on pewter, the low murmur of the fire. Outside, the breeze has picked up just a little. It moves the branches of the apple trees. Snow dust falls from them in slow, sparkling showers. The light catches each flake as it drifts. Tiny prisms flash and vanish. The yard looks alive with gentle motion, yet still perfectly peaceful. After the plate is empty and the last crumbs brushed away, the children help clear. The boy carries the plate. His sister folds the linen cloth they used. They rinse the knife in the basin. Everything returned to its shelf or peg. The mother smiles at their careful work. She does not praise with many words. A look is enough. They understand. The girl returns to her sewing. The boy picks up his horse again. The father stands and walks to the door. He opens it wide this time. The cold air rushes in, crisp and invigorating. He steps onto the porch for a moment. He breathes deeply. The sun is warm on his face despite the chill. He looks at the woodpile. It calls to him now. The afternoon is the best time for splitting. The light good, the air not yet too cold for hands. He closes the door behind him. He gathers his axe from the shed beside the house. The handle is smooth from years of use, the blade sharp and bright. He walks along the cleared path to the woodpile. Snow crunches under his boots with each step. A soft, steady sound. Crunch, crunch, crunch. He reaches the pile. The logs are stacked neatly under a lean-to roof. He selects one. Straight-grained, not too thick. He sets it upright on the chopping block. He lifts the axe slowly. The weight feels familiar in his hands. He brings it down in one clean, measured swing. The blade bites deep. The log splits with a sharp crack. Two halves fall away. He sets them aside. Another log. Another swing. The rhythm begins. Lift, swing, crack, lift, swing, crack. Each split piece is even, ready for the fire. He works without strain. His breath clouds in the air. His cheeks redden from the effort and the cold. But he does not hurry. The pile grows slowly, one log at a time, one clean split at a time. Inside, the family listens to the distant sound. The axe falls with regular thuds. It carries across the quiet yard. Thud, thud, thud. A comforting heartbeat from outside. The mother returns to the loom. The shuttle resumes its path. The girl's needle moves through cloth. The boy rocks his horse in time with the axe. All things in gentle harmony. The sunlight continues its slow descent. It touches the far wall now, turning the pine boards a deep amber. Shadows lengthen across the floor. The fire glows brighter in the growing dimness. The afternoon drifts onward, peaceful, unhurried, full of simple, repeating motions. You can feel the same calm settling over you, the distant thud of the axe, the soft clack of the loom, the warmth of the fire on your skin. Your breathing slows to match the rhythm of the day. In, out, in, out. Your body grows heavy. Your thoughts drift like the snow dust from the branches. Light, sparkling, gone in an instant. No need to hold anything. Let it all fall away. The house is warm. The light is golden. The night will come gently when it is ready. For now, rest here. Deeper, deeper, safe in this quiet winter afternoon. The sun has begun its slow descent now. The golden light in the keeping room has deepened to a rich amber. Long shadows stretch from the furniture across the floorboards, reaching toward the hearth like gentle fingers. The fire burns with a steady, low flame. The oak log has settled into glowing coals at its heart. Occasional small pops send tiny sparks upward, bright for an instant, then gone. The warmth remains constant, wrapping the room in a soft, unchanging embrace. Outside, the snow-covered yard takes on a pale lavender tint as the afternoon edges toward evening. The sky above the bare trees has turned a soft, pale blue, streaked with the faintest hints of rose near the horizon. The mother has finished another section on the loom. She runs her hand across the new rows of checked cloth. The texture is even, the edges straight. She measures the length with her outstretched arm, from elbow to fingertip. Satisfied, she ties off the warp threads at the end. She cuts them carefully with small shears. Snip, snip, snip. Each cut is precise. She rolls the finished length forward and secures it with a length of twine. The cloth will be hemmed tomorrow. For now, it rests on the shelf beside the loom, ready when needed. She stands and stretches her arms above her head. Her back makes a small, quiet pop. She smiles at the familiar sound. Then she walks to the window. She rubs another clear circle in the frost with her sleeve. The world outside is still. No movement except the slow drift of a single flake dislodged from a branch. It falls in a lazy spiral before settling back into the white. The girl has completed another block for her doll's quilt. 9 small patches now make one larger square. She holds it up to the fading light. The colors blend softly. Blue beside cream. Rose touching green. She traces the stitches with her fingertip. They are small and even, growing more confident with each passing day. She folds the block carefully and places it in her sewing basket beside the settle. She tucks the needle into a small pin cushion shaped like a strawberry. The pin cushion is worn from years of use, its red fabric faded to a gentle pink. She smooths the basket lid closed. Then she joins her brother on the floor near the hearth. He has set his wooden horse aside again. Now he holds a small bundle of dried lavender her mother gathered last July. The stems are tied with a scrap of ribbon. He brings the bundle close to his nose. The scent is faint now, but still sweet and clean. It reminds him of summer fields and warm afternoons. He closes his eyes and breathes in slowly. His sister leans against him. They sit like this, side by side, sharing the lavender scent without words. The firelight dances across their faces in soft orange flickers. The father has returned from the woodpile. His arms carry a neat stack of freshly split logs. Snow still clings to his shoulders and the tops of his boots. He stamps once on the porch before entering. The door opens and closes with a quiet thud. Cold air slips in for a heartbeat, then is gone. He carries the wood to the basket beside the hearth. He arranges the pieces carefully, largest at the bottom, smaller on top. Each log fits neatly against the last. When the basket is full, he brushes his hands together. Small bits of bark and snow fall to the floor. He sweeps them into the fire with the twig broom. They catch at once, sending up a brief flare of bright flame. He hangs the broom back on its peg. Then he sits in his chair. His coat and cap are hung by the door. His cheeks are still flushed from the cold and the work. He rubs his hands slowly, letting the fire's heat soak into his palms. The warmth travels up his arms, easing the quiet ache from swinging the axe. The family gathers near the hearth again. No one plans it. It simply happens. The mother brings the rocking chair closer. She sits and picks up her knitting once more. The brown sock is nearly finished now. Only the toe remains. She decreases the stitches carefully. Keirutog, slip one, knit one, pass slipped stitch over. The pattern repeats in a gentle loop. Click, click, click. The needles move like a slow pendulum. The boy leans against his father's leg. The girl sits on the settle, knees drawn up, arms wrapped around them. They watch the fire together. The coals glow deep red beneath the ash. A small blue flame flickers now and then where the wood splits. The light touches everything softly. The pine walls, the wool blankets, the faces of the family. Outside, the sky darkens by slow degrees. The pale blue turns to deeper indigo. The rose on the horizon fades to soft gray. The first stars appear, tiny points of silver high above the trees. No moon yet, only starlight on the snow, making it shimmer faintly. The wind has died completely. The branches hang motionless. The world holds its breath. Inside, the mother finishes the toe of the sock. She casts off the last stitches. She pulls the yarn through and ties a small knot. She turns the sock right side out. It is smooth, warm, perfectly shaped. She holds it up for a moment. Then she folds it neatly and places it on the small table beside her husband. He reaches over and touches it with one finger. The wool is soft under his calloused skin. He nods once. "Thank you," he says quietly. She smiles. No more words are needed. The children begin to yawn. First the boy, a small, wide yawn that makes his eyes water. Then his sister. She covers her mouth with her hand. The day has been long in its quiet way, not tiring from work, but full in the gentle manner of winter days spent indoors. The mother notices. She sets her knitting basket aside. "Time to prepare for bed soon," she says softly. The children do not protest. They simply nod. The father stands first. He adds one more log to the fire. A small one this time. It will burn through the night, keeping the coals alive until morning. He banks the sides with ash using the shovel. The flames dim to a steady glow. The room grows a shade darker, but still warm. He lights one candle from the ember he lifts with the tongs. The wick catches with a soft hiss. Golden light spreads from the single flame. It is enough. The mother rises. She guides the children to the stairs. They climb slowly. Each step creaks under their small weight. The father follows behind. At the top, the bedchamber is cold but not freezing. The quilts wait, thick and inviting. The mother helps the children out of their outer layers. They slip into their nightshirts. Soft linen, warm from the chest. They climb into the trundle bed. The feather tick rustles as they settle. She tucks the quilts around them. First the boy, then the girl. She smooths the covers with slow strokes. She kisses each forehead. The kisses are light, lingering just a moment. "Sleep well, my dears," she whispers. The children murmur sleepy replies. Their eyes close almost at once. Their breathing slows, deepens. The parents move to their own bed. They undress quietly. They slip under the heavy quilts. The mattress gives softly beneath them. The father pulls the covers high. His wife rests her head on his shoulder. They lie still, listening to the faint crackle of the fire below, to the soft breathing of their children, to the silence of the snow-covered night outside. The candle burns low on the small stand. Wax drips in slow tears down its side. The flame flickers once, twice, then steadies. The room fills with gentle shadows. Everything is quiet. Everything is warm. Everything is at peace. You are here with them now. Feel the weight of the quilts on your chest. Hear the low murmur of the fire far below. Breathe in the faint scent of wood smoke and lavender. Breathe out slowly. Your body sinks deeper into the bed. Your thoughts drift like starlight on snow. Light, quiet, endless. The night is long. The warmth is deep. Sleep comes softly, wrapping around you like the falling dark. Let go. Rest. Deeper now. Deeper still. The candle on the small stand has burned lower now. Its flame stands steady and small, a single point of gold in the dim bedchamber. Wax has pooled at the base in a smooth, shallow lake, reflecting the light in faint ripples. The wick curls slightly, sending up the thinnest thread of smoke that disappears into the cool air. The room upstairs is quiet except for the soft, even breathing of the family. The children lie curled together in the trundle bed, faces relaxed, mouths slightly open. The quilts rise and fall in slow rhythm. Small waves of wool and feather. The parents rest side by side in the larger bed. The father's arm lies across the coverlet. His wife's hand rests lightly on his wrist. Their breathing has matched now. Deep, slow inhalations that fill the chest. Long exhalations that release the last traces of the day. Downstairs, the fire has become a gentle bed of coals. No bright flames leap anymore. Only a deep, steady red glow beneath the thin layer of ash. Every so often, a small pocket of gas escapes from the wood and ignites with a faint blue flicker. Then it fades again. The heat lingers in the stones of the hearth, radiating outward in warm, invisible waves. It reaches the pine floorboards, warming them enough that bare feet would not feel the winter chill. The keeping room holds, the day's light in memory, the golden afternoon now replaced by soft shadows. The loom stands silent in the corner. The checked cloth rests folded on its shelf. The sewing baskets wait neatly beside the settle. The wooden horse sits on the windowsill, catching the faint moonlight that has begun to slip through the cracks in the shutters. Outside, the night has fully arrived. The sky is clear and very dark. Stars scatter across it like fine salt on black cloth. The moon, a thin crescent, hangs low above the treetops. Its light is pale and cool, painting the snow in silver blue. Every surface gleams softly. The roof, the fence posts, the branches bent under their white burden. No wind moves. The silence is complete. Only the occasional soft thud of snow sliding from the eaves breaks the stillness. It lands on the ground below with a muffled sigh. The barn stands dark and quiet. Inside, the cow chews her cud slowly. The chickens roost close together, feathers fluffed against the cold. All creatures rest. Inside the house, time seems to pause. The clock on the mantel downstairs chimes once. A single, low note that drifts upward through the floorboards. It is midnight. The sound is gentle, almost part of the breathing of the home itself. No one stirs. The chime fades into silence again. The candle flickers once as a small draft moves through the room. Then it steadies. The wick shortens slowly. The flame grows smaller still. In the trundle bed, the boy shifts slightly. He turns onto his side, pulling the quilt higher with one small hand. His sister murmurs something soft. Not words, just a sleepy sound. She nestles closer to him. Their breathing remains even. The quilts cocoon them in warmth. The feather tick cradles their small bodies. No dreams disturb them yet, only deep, peaceful rest. The mother opens her eyes for a moment. She listens to the faint pop of a coal downstairs, to the slow creak of the house timbers cooling in the night, to the quiet breathing of her husband and children. All is well. She closes her eyes again. Her hand tightens gently on her husband's wrist. He does not wake, but his fingers curl slightly in response. A small, unconscious gesture of connection. The candle burns on. Its light reaches only a few feet now. The rest of the room lies in soft darkness. Shadows pool in the corners, under the beds, along the walls. They are not frightening. They are comforting, like thick blankets drawn close. The moonlight through the shutter cracks paints thin silver lines across the floor. They move slowly as the moon crosses the sky. One line touches the edge of the trundle bed. It glides upward, across the quilt, over the sleeping children. It rests for a moment on the boy's cheek, turning his skin pale and luminous. Then it moves on. Downstairs, the coals settle deeper. A log shifts with a quiet thud. Ash sifts downward. The glow dims a fraction more. The heat remains, steady and sure. It will last until morning. The house protects its family. Thick walls, heavy timbers, a roof blanketed in snow. Nothing from the cold night can enter here. The night deepens further. Hours pass without mark. The stars wheel overhead. The crescent moon sinks lower. The snow outside remains untouched. Perfect. Silent. Inside, the candle finally gutters. The wick collapses into the pool of wax. A last small puff of smoke rises. Then darkness. Soft, complete, kind. Only the red glow from the hearth downstairs leaks upward, through the cracks around the stairs. A faint, warm promise that morning will come. The family sleeps on, breaths slow and deep, bodies heavy with rest, minds empty of the day's small doings. No worries linger, no plans press forward. Only this long, quiet stretch of night, this deep peace that winter brings when the world outside is still. You are here too now. Feel the quilts heavy across your chest. Hear the faint, distant pop of the coals far below. Sense the cool air of the upstairs room on your face, balanced by the warmth beneath the covers. Your own breathing slows to match theirs. In, hold, out. In, hold, out. Your arms and legs grow heavy. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw softens. Your eyelids are too heavy to lift. Thoughts come like distant starlight. Faint, brief, then gone. No need to follow them. Let them drift away into the dark. The house holds you gently. The night wraps around you softly. The sleep is deep and dreamless. Nothing disturbs. Nothing hurries. Only rest. Pure, endless rest. Deeper now. Deeper still. Safe in this cozy colonial home, under the gentle snowfall of time. Let go completely. Sleep. The night has reached its deepest hour. The crescent moon has slipped below the horizon. Only the stars remain, cold and distant, scattered like tiny lanterns across the black sky. Their light falls on the snow in the faintest silver shimmer. So soft it is almost invisible unless you look for it. The world outside the house is perfectly still. No creature stirs. No branch sways. The snow lies thick and unbroken. A white quilt drawn over fields, fences, and rooftops. The small colonial home stands quiet in the center of it all, its windows dark, except for the very faint red glow leaking from the cracks around the shutters. Downstairs, that glow is the only sign of life, the last breath of the fire keeping. Watch through the long hours. Upstairs, the bed chamber is wrapped in complete darkness now that the candle has gone out. The air is cool against exposed skin, but beneath the heavy quilts the warmth is deep and constant. The feather ticks have molded perfectly to each body. The wool blankets hold the heat close. The children sleep without moving. The boy's arm has slipped across his sister's shoulder in the night. She has curled toward him, her forehead resting near his cheek. Their breathing is slow, almost in unison, a gentle tide that rises and falls without effort. In the larger bed, the parents lie close. The father's hand rests open on the mattress between them. His wife's fingers are loosely entwined with his. Neither has stirred for hours. Their faces are smooth, unlined by thought or worry. The quiet of the night has settled into their bones, heavy and soothing. Downstairs, the coals in the hearth have become a single, steady pulse of warmth. The last oak log has burned to a soft gray skeleton. A thin veil of ash covers everything. Beneath it, a deep cherry red still glows. Not bright enough to light the room, but enough to keep frost from forming on the inside of the window panes. The iron kettle on the crane has cooled completely. The pewter mugs sit upside down on the rack, dry and waiting for morning. The rocking chair stands motionless. The loom waits in its corner. The small wooden horse on the windowsill catches the starlight in one polished curve. Everything is exactly as it should be. Nothing out of place. Nothing needing attention. The house itself breathes in its own slow way. Timbers contract faintly in the cold. A floorboard gives the softest creak once every hour. The roof settles under the weight of snow. These are the night sounds of an old home. Gentle, familiar, reassuring. They weave into the silence without breaking it. The clock downstairs chimes twice. Two low, mellow notes that drift upward like smoke. 2 o'clock. The sound fades before it reaches the bedchamber. No one hears. No one needs to. Outside, a single snowflake detaches from a high branch. It falls alone, turning slowly in the still air. It lands on the porch rail without sound. Another follows, then another. Not a storm, not even a flurry, just the quiet beginning of new snow, flake by flake, patient and unhurried. By morning, a fresh layer will soften the edges of the world again. The path the father shoveled will be dusted white. The woodpile will wear a new cap of snow, everything renewed in silence. Inside, the night continues its gentle passage. The coals glow. The quilts hold warmth. Breaths rise and fall. Hearts beat in slow, steady time. No dreams come to trouble anyone. Only the deep, dreamless rest that winter nights offer when the world is wrapped in white and quiet. The hours stretch long. Time loses meaning. There is only now, this moment of perfect stillness. As the stars begin their slow turn toward dawn, the faintest change comes. Far off, in the east, the sky softens from black to deepest indigo. No color yet, just the promise of it. The house waits. The family sleeps. The fire keeps its low watch. The snow falls in silence. You are part of this quiet now. Feel the quilts pressing gently against your skin. Hear the soft, distant sigh of the house settling. Breathe in the cool, clean air of the upstairs room. Breathe out long and slow. Your body is heavy, sunk deep into the mattress. Your arms rest limp at your sides. Your legs feel rooted, warm, still. Your mind is empty. No thoughts linger. Only the slow rhythm of your own breath. In, out, in, out. Each breath carries you deeper, deeper into the warmth, deeper into the dark, deeper into rest. The night holds you gently. The house cradles you safely. The snow outside falls like a lullaby. Soft, endless, peaceful. Nothing can reach you here. No sound, no light, no worry. Only this deep, cozy sleep. Let it take you completely. Let your eyelids seal shut. Let your thoughts dissolve like the last coal's glow. Sleep now, long, deep, sweet. The morning will come when it comes. For now, there is only this rest, rest, rest.